Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to our session. Okay, we're ready to get started for this hour. Okay, today's the topic for this lesson is check for understanding. All right, now when you speak any language, of course, you want to make sure that you understand and that you are being understood. All right, so today we're going to talk about some practical things that you can do to make sure that your listener understands what you are saying. All right, so it's time for us to go ahead and begin our lesson. Please join us here in the Hangout if you're able to do so. All righty, and once again, welcome to our lesson about making sure that you are understood and that you understand. All right, so for those of you who are just joining us, you feel free to join us. Okay, feel free to join me in the Hangout, and then that way you can get some practice using your English, getting some vocabulary, and some practical suggestions for making sure that you are understood. All right, very good. Let's see. Let's welcome Ava. Hello, Ava. How are you today?
Hi, how are you? Fine, thank you.
Good. I'm happy to hear that you're doing fine today, Ava. All right, so Ava, please tell me a little bit about yourself. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm from Madrid in Spain. I work in
Okay.
an international company and it's for that I need to improve my English. It's
Mm-hmm.
my first class with you
Yes,
and
I'm excited that you're here with me today. Thank you for choosing the class.
you're welcome. And I don't know if my level is intermediate or less, but I try to follow you.
Well, good. It's nice to try out different teachers. That way you're exposed to different teaching styles. You can hear different accents and different
Yes,
ways of expressing ideas. So yes, it's very good to have a variety of teachers.
yes, I think so.
All right, very good. Well, let me tell you a little bit about myself. And my name is Carissa, and I was born and raised in the United States. I'm from the state of Ohio.
Mhm.
And for the past 8 years, I've lived in Central America between Panama and Costa Rica. I do volunteer work here, and I'm also an English instructor online. I also work as a sign language interpreter for the deaf and the hearing. And in my free time, I really enjoy spending time with friends and family. I love to play card games, board games, listen to music, and dance. So yeah, there's lots of different things I like to do, and to travel as well. I enjoy traveling.
Okay.
All right, very good.
Nice
Well,
to meet
Ava,
you.
yes, it's great to meet you too, and thanks for trying out a lesson with me today. Hopefully, you'll find it interesting, and you'll get some good practice talking about this subject. Okay, very good, Ava. All right, let's also welcome Rafa. Hello, Rafa. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty well, thank you. I I have a day off and I can join to different classes at Berlin. I hope to enjoy with your class today too.
Yes, well, good. Thank you, Rafa, for joining me today. It's great to have you. It's great to have you here participating in our lesson. All right, so Rafa, tell us a little bit about yourself. Can you introduce yourself, please, to your classmates?
Yeah, I'm Rafael. I'm from Spain, from the capital Madrid, and I I've joined Berlin from the last 3 months, but before I was at Colingo with a similar web page with the same structure to teach English on the webs. I met Heidi, that is today in our class many times at Colingo, and Colingo close out because they were a deficitary business. They were run out of the money. They need to close down, and I changed to Berlin, and I'm very grateful because I can practice. I enjoy practice English every day.
Good. So how did you find out about Verbaling?
At the web page, looking at the Googling, I found out that Berlin was giving classes, and I've joined it.
Okay, so just looking online. Okay. All right. Now, I just want to ask you, do you prefer that I call you Rafael, or do you prefer to be called Rafa?
It doesn't matter. Rafa perhaps is shorter and more easy to say.
Okay, well, that's good. Then Rafa it is. Okay, very good. All right, very good. And let's go ahead and welcome Heide. Hello, Heide. How are you doing today?
Hello, nice to see you again. I'm fine, thank you. Oh, today, I always pay by my credit card. Then I accumulated a lot of points. Then I exchange the point to the kind of paper money from the credit card company. And then yesterday I received about $100. Then I went to the shopping mall just in front of my house. At first, I went to Gap from America. I bought a dress and a T-shirt, but they had a bargain sale. All things are half price.
Oh, that's great.
And then next, I went to Zara from Spain. Then I bought 2 T-shirts and a scarf, but all half price. I was very glad.
I'm happy for you, Heide. You have bragging rights. If you can buy things at half price, that's great.
Yeah, 4 T-shirts. And then still I have some paper money.
That's great. I know when I go back to the States and I shop, I love to find a great bargain. For me, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, many people hate using credit card, but I like it because I can gain some points.
Get some points. Well, yeah, if you can find a double benefit from your shopping, that's even better.
Yeah, that's right. So I like paying by credit card.
Yeah, and that's something I like to do too. If I can buy something with my credit card, but I have the money for it, I'll just buy something and then I'll pay it right off, and then that way I can get the benefits as well of points or whatever, and increase on my credit rating.
I pay everything like telephone or water supply or electricity.
Oh, very good. Well, Heidi, thank you for sharing with us. That was really nice. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and see what our lesson is for today. Okay. So, as you would have read in the class description today, we're going to check for understanding. All right. We're going to talk about it on both sides. Okay. From the viewpoint that you check for understanding, you check that you understood what the person you're listening to has said. All right. And then on the flip side of it, okay, some different things that you can do when you speak to make sure that you are understood. Okay, so very good. So let's start off by asking, I'm just going to ask a quick question here in the chat box, and then I'd like to hear your responses. Okay, so when you are, let's say unable, okay, when you're unable to hear someone clearly, okay, what do you do? Okay, I'd like to know how you handle that situation. So say that you're listening to me here in class. If you are not able to hear me clearly, then what can you do? Okay, Ava, what can you do if you do not hear the speaker clearly?
Maybe I ask about. Could you please repeat the sentence? I can hear you clearly. Could you please repeat or speak loud?
Okay, good. Okay, so could you repeat maybe what you said? All right, and then you ask. All right, very good. Or also, could you speak a little? Okay, very good. Now, Eva, I really like your questions here because they are very polite. Sometimes the tendency is if you don't hear correctly, someone will say, "What?" Okay, and it sounds a bit crass. It sounds a bit I don't know. If you're speaking with someone informally and it's a friend or maybe a family member, sometimes you may hear someone ask, "What?" But if you're in a professional setting and you mean to be polite, then you can use the questions that Eva mentioned. Very good. Okay. Let's see. Rafa, what do you do if you are unable to hear someone clearly? What do you do?
Also, I try to use a polite question like, "Sorry, if you don't mind, I can't. Can you speak up because I cannot hear you properly," or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. Good. So I cannot hear you properly. Okay, I just want to get some of these ideas in the chat box. Very good. Okay, so really with these responses, we're taking part of the responsibility for not understanding. Okay, we're not placing the understanding completely on the person. Okay, we're admitting, "I'm sorry, I really didn't hear you." Okay, and you're making a suggestion on what the person can do to improve the situation. Okay, very good. All right, and then Heide, what do you do? Do you have any other strategies?
No, there are many students from South America. I can't know. Their accent is very difficult for Japanese. Then I don't care about that. But some quiz lessons, I need to ask what did you say sometimes. So always I say, "I'm sorry, I can't get."
Okay, good. So, all right, so good. So you said, "I'm sorry, I didn't get that." Okay, all right. And then again, you may ask again what you said. What did you say, please? Or could you please repeat what you said?
Yeah.
Now, Heide, you bring up a good point because there are many different nationalities of English speakers. Some are first language English speakers. And if you go to the United States, for example, the way that people in the United States in the North speak is different than the way people in the South speak. Those who are from the East Coast or from the West Coast, they have a slightly different manner of speaking English. So regional differences play a factor in your understanding, especially if English is not your first language. All right, good. So these are some coping techniques, okay? Being polite and asking for the person to repeat. Okay, very good. It depends too, if you are in a virtual setting like we are right now, you can also ask that the person write what they have said. Okay, sometimes that works for me because sometimes you can ask someone to repeat what they've said and they can repeat it 5 times and you still don't understand what they've said. I don't know if that's happened to you before, but it's happened to me before as an English professor. It's okay. Sometimes, okay, if you say, "I'm sorry, can you please repeat? I'm sorry, I still didn't quite get that. Could you repeat once again? I'm sorry, I'm going to turn up my volume. I still wasn't able to hear you." Okay, sometimes people get a bit frustrated if you ask them to repeat themselves several times. Okay, so sometimes I say, in a virtual setting, would you mind typing what you said? All right, so sometimes that really helps too, because sometimes the person really is not pronouncing the words correctly, or they're trying to use an idiom or an expression, but they're not putting the accents on the right parts of the word. So actually seeing what someone is trying to say, sometimes that really helps. Also, if people are in your countries and you're having a hard time hearing what they're saying, so someone walks up to you and says, hi there, and they're asking for directions, but you don't really understand, you can say, okay, would you mind writing? Can you please write down what you're saying or where you need to go, the address? And then that way you can help them a little bit better. Okay, very good. All right, now let's talk about on our part. Okay, how can we make sure that we are understood? Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you, and I've prepared just a short lesson about some practical things that you can do. Okay, all right, so what you can see at the top is the topic for our lesson today. Make sure you are understood. Okay, now let's take a look at the two pictures that are here on the board. Okay, and I'm going to ask Rafa. Rafa, can you explain what is happening in the two pictures that are on the screen?
Yeah, I'll try. There is a woman or a girl talking, saying something, and the other in front of her there are a guy, a boy that perhaps he didn't understand what she's saying.
All right, very good. Okay, so let's say there that a woman is talking or she's speaking, but her listener doesn't understand. Have it there. All right, that's true. Now, sometimes that happens to us. Rafa, has that ever happened to you, that you thought that you were speaking clearly, maybe with English, you were speaking English clearly, but your listener did not understand you? Has that ever happened to you before?
Yeah, several times. At Berlin is very difficult to understand people from another culture with different accents, and every time in class we have problems like this in many classes.
And you know, I have to tell you, I will admit that this happens to me as well. I live in Costa Rica, and of course we speak Spanish here. And sometimes, according to me, I am speaking very clear Spanish. It couldn't be any clearer. And then people don't understand me. And I can remember that feeling of frustration, because in my mind, what I said was crystal clear. The problem was I was not being understood. Okay, now what could be the problem here? What do you think? What do you think is a problem? What happens in your mind? You're speaking clearly, but your listener does not understand you. Rafa, what do you think one of the problems could be?
One of the problems could be the structure of the sentence, because in your language the structure of the sentence is in one way, but in the other language the structure is different. The possessive, the pronouns, the nouns, and the adjective have different positions in every language. For example, from Spanish to English, there is different positions, and perhaps you are thinking in your own language, in your native language, and trying to translate it, but the translation is not correct, and the listener couldn't understand what are you saying. Could be one reason.
That's true. So you're thinking in your native language, so you're using the sentence structure from your native language, and that doesn't always match the sentence structure in your target language. That's true. Very good job. All right, Ava, what do you think could be the problem When you are thinking clearly, you have a clear idea and you think you're being clear, but you're not understood. What's the problem?
Sometimes I think it's about the accent because you think that you are pronouncing perfectly, but in English, several words sound equal. If you don't show what you want to say, it's difficult for the other person to understand it. Um, my problem normally is that I don't pronounce correctly, or maybe that I'm trying to do the sentences as in Spanish, and it's not the correct form.
Yep. Okay, good. So that goes in harmony with what Rafa said.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear from Heide. Heide, what's your opinion? What do you think the problem could be?
Before I met a student from India,
Mm-hmm.
and then he can speak English fluently, very fast. He speaks fast, and the pronunciation is much better, different from us. So I couldn't understand.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you speak fast. Okay, you speak fast, and you do not pronounce your words correctly. Okay, let's say your words correctly, and let's put a slash there, clearly. That's a problem. Sometimes when you're learning a different language, you can get the idea that you have to speak the language fast. Okay, you want to speak at a pace that you hear native speakers using. But when you're new, that really should not be your focus. Okay, your focus should really be on clear and accurate pronunciation. Your fluency will come in time. All right, very good. And that's the suggestion that I have, the first suggestion here. Practice your pronunciation. Okay, so let's take responsibility for being understood. Okay, we want to make sure that our pronunciation is clear and accurate. So my suggestion is this: identify which words or sounds you have a hard time pronouncing. And you know which ones those are. Okay, and I'll give you an example. I'm learning an Indian language right now. That language is called, and I'm going to type it here in the chat box, Malvere. And I think Anita, give me just a second. One of the letters for this word is not on my computer keyboard, so I need to check the... Okay. All right, so I'm going to put that here. All right, so here it is in the chat box. It's called Malvere. All right, now you'll hear it's throaty. Okay, you make a lot of the sounds with in your throat as opposed to in your nose. Okay, so avere. Okay, now in avere, yeah, this is the way that you say. Okay, so this is how you say family. Okay, so here it is. Now with this language that I'm learning. Okay, the A with the diaresis on top with the two points is pronounced ah. And then if a K is in the middle of the word, it sounds like a G. So this word is pronounced mrogadre. Okay, it's difficult to pronounce. It's a little bit difficult to pronounce. All right, so you have to say it right. It's not Maracatre. All right, no, that's not right. And in English, we hardly pronounce the M and MR combination. Okay, so we don't really have that in English. All right, so that makes it a little bit difficult to pronounce. Okay, but you have to do some exercises. For example, I asked a friend, he is of the Waimea or the Nave Indians. I asked for tongue twisters, and he gave me a sentence using different words that begin with MR. Okay, so my assignment is to practice pronouncing that combination correctly. Okay, so that's my first suggestion. Identify which words or sounds you have a hard time pronouncing. And then how do you know if you've got the right pronunciation? Well, you can look online. A lot of online dictionaries will have a place, a little microphone icon, and you can press that icon and hear the correct pronunciation of that word, because you can continue to practice that on a daily basis. Okay, do you have any other suggestions for improving your pronunciation? Okay, Haide, what do you do to improve and to practice your pronunciation? What have you tried?
I attended a reading class many times. And then after reading, a teacher corrected my pronunciation.
Okay, very good. That's very practical. What about you, Rafa? What have you tried?
Oh, for me, there are many difficult words, and I try to repeat it at least 100 times, and perhaps at the end of this 100, I can pronounce better.
Okay.
Repeat and repeat.
Okay, so repetition, as the saying says, repetition is the mother of retention. All right, so if you repeat it often enough, you will retain it. You will remember it. Very good. Okay, and what about you, Eva? What have you tried?
When I don't know how to pronounce a word, I check the internet. I check in several web pages, and I try to repeat the sound. I try to repeat the word in the correct form.
Okay, very good. So
For
again,
me, the most difficult is to pronounce well the past for verbs.
Uh-huh. Okay, good. And we can actually review that just a little bit.
And another thing, I always mute because I always mimic teacher's pronunciation.
Yep, that's true.
Myself.
Yep, so that mute function is very useful. Yes, very good. All right. Okay, well, I have an idea. I wish actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this for a second. I'm going to stop this screen share. And Eva, I'm going to give you something that I think you will find helpful. I don't know. Rafa, do you find pronouncing ED endings, is that easy for you, or is that a bit of a challenge as well? Okay, Rafa,
Could you repeat, because my connection, I think, have problems. If I
do you find it easy or challenging to pronounce verbs with the ED ending? Do you find that easy or do you find that challenging?
oh, horrible. It's very difficult because I'm trying to learn and to learn by heart, but it's difficult to pronounce it correctly because the ED has three sound, but for me it's very difficult. Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Okay, so, it would be worth it for us to, let's do an exercise. All right, now this is a lesson that I put together for a previous class that I taught. Let's take a look at it, and maybe you'll find this method a little bit easier, okay, or helpful. Okay, all right, very good. So it says in general, verbs with the ed ending are pronounced with a D sound. Okay, now look at the way that I've broken up the verb. Okay, you'll see that you say the verb, the base verb, and then you simply add a D sound at the end. Okay, so the first one is allowed. Okay, the base word for the next verb is cry. So I'm just going to add a D sound. Cried. Enjoyed. Okay, all right. Haide, how do you think the next verb is pronounced?
Cry. Cried.
Good, very good. All right, and what about the next word after that? How is that one pronounced, Heide?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Next what? Enjoy?
Good, very good. Enjoyed. Very good. Very good. All right, and then Ava, can you pronounce the next two words for me?
Which one? Clean.
Okay. Yep. And cleaned and?
Clean. Imagine.
Very good. You got it. Okay, Rafa, pronounce the last two words for me.
Yeah. Loved, loved, and hewed, hewed. Oh,
Good. So loved, that's correct. Okay, now the last one is hug.
had.
Right. Good. You got the sound perfectly, Rafa. That was great. Okay. Hugged. All right. So this is one way to remember. In general, just say the verb and add a D sound at the end. Okay, in general. Now let's talk about two exceptions to that. All right, this is always an exception. All right, let's take our second paragraph there. Now listen carefully. It says, okay, the ed ending added to verbs that end with a T or D sound are pronounced as the syllable ed or id. Okay, so in this one, you're going to look at how the verb ends. Okay, now it says with a T or a D sound. Okay, not necessarily the letter. Sometimes it does end with a T or it ends with a D. Okay, that's fine. But if it doesn't and it has the same sound, then you're just going to pronounce ed or id. Now let me give you an example. Okay, the verb visit. Visit. It ends with a T sound. Okay, so the way that I pronounce that is visited. Okay, look how I've broken up the word. Visited. Visited. All right, wait. Again, it ends with a T sound. Wait. So the way that I pronounce that is waited. Waited. Okay, let's have the next two words. Rafa, can you pronounce the next two words for me?
Yeah. Shout, shouted, shouted. Direct, directed.
Very good. All right, so really the way that you pronounced it, it sounds somewhere in between ed and id, right? So shouted or shouted. Okay, you're going to be understood however you pronounce that. Okay, either way. Shouted, shouted. Okay, but the main point is that it's pronounced with an ed or id sound at the end. Okay, now look at the difference. Okay, I'm going to scroll back up just a tad bit. All right, let's look at the difference. With these verbs, they end with a T or D sound. With the ones above, for example, allow, that does not end with a T or D sound. So I am not going to say allowed. Okay, no, that would be incorrect, right? The words that are in the first example, they do not end with a T or D sound, right? So again, all you're going to do is pronounce the verb and then the D sound. Allowed, allowed. Visited. Okay, do you hear the difference? Visited. Okay? All right, let's pronounce the rest of the words. Now, I did not form the past tense, so that's going to be your activity. Okay, and so let's see. Heide. Okay, what's the past tense of the next three words? Vote, lift,
Voted.
and point.
Voted, lifted, pointed.
Very good. All right, now Heide, you'll notice with the word vote. Okay, vote ends with the letter E.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but it actually has a T sound. Vote, vote. Okay, so that's why you said voted. Very good job, Heide. Very good. Okay, let's move on and let's have Ava. Ava, take the next three words. How do I say those three words in the past tense? Mm-hmm. Ava? Okay, I think Ava stepped away for a moment. Okay, Rafa. Rafa, can you tell me how to pronounce the next three words?
From boat or lift. Lift.
From
Li
shift? Mm-hmm.
shift.
Mm-hmm.
Sift. Sifted.
Mm-hmm.
And ended.
Mm-hmm.
Mend. Mended.
Very good, very good. All right, and then Haide, take the last two words for me.
Okay, exploded, molded.
Yes, excellent job. Very good. Okay, do you have any questions so far about the pronunciation of the ED endings? Any questions so far?
No questions.
This rule, I have a question, if I may. This rule is when the ending of the verbs are in T or D. Is
If
that correct?
if you have a T or a D sound,
D sound. Yeah.
right? So you're going to pay attention. You are going to look at the word, okay? For example, in the first four words, they do end with the letter T.
Yeah, but both
Right, but vote
doesn't.
isn't, and explode also ends with an E, okay, but it has a D sound. Explode, explode. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All
Thank you.
right. You're welcome. Very good. Thanks for asking that question. All right, and let's take our last exception, and that's going to be it. Okay? All right, so it says here the ED ending added to verbs that end with CH, F, K, P, S, SH, T, and TH is pronounced like a T. Now, how are you going to remember these? Okay, you can write them down. Okay, you can write them down, put it on your refrigerator, put it somewhere where you can see it. Okay, write it down, and then that way, every time you come across a word, and you're not sure about how to pronounce the ending, all right, just think about it. In general, you're just going to say the verb and pronounce a D, except if the word ends with a T or a D sound. Or if it ends with one of these endings, then it's pronounced like a T. All right, so let's take a couple of examples. All right, so the past tense of talk. Okay, instead of saying talked, okay, see that it ends with a K. That word ends with a K. So you're going to end that word with a T sound. Talked, talked. Same thing with walk. Walked, walked. Okay? All right. Now, the next word is spelled L-A-U-G-H, but it's pronounced like an F. Laugh. Okay, so it's not just the letter, but it's the sound of the ending. Laugh. Ah, it ends with an F sound, so I'm going to pronounce a T at the end. Laughed. Laughed. The same thing with cough. Cough. Okay, so that would be coughed. All right? Okay, Haide, how do I pronounce the past tense of the words kiss and brush?
Kissed, brushed,
Good. All right. And then Rafa, how do I pronounce check and smack?
Checked. Smacked.
There you go. That's good. That's it. I can hear you thinking about that, Rafa. Good. Checked and smacked. Very
Smacked.
good. Uh-huh. All right. She smacked him. Okay. All right, good. Now, this is pretty simple. Okay. How do you know how to pronounce the ed ending? You're going to look or listen to how the verb ends. In what sound does it end? If it ends in one of these sounds, you're going to pronounce a T. If it ends in a T or a D sound, you're going to say ed or id at the end of the word. And for all of the other verbs, you're going to say the verb and then pronounce the D. That's it. Okay? All right, any questions about the pronunciation of the ED endings? Any questions? Okay, all right, this is just going to come with time. Again, post this somewhere and just continue to practice it. All right, guys, excellent job. So this is one way that you can work on your pronunciation. All right, excellent job. So that way we take responsibility for others understanding us. All right, let's go back to the original document. Okay, all right, now another thing that I found online that can help with your pronunciation is what we call a pronunciation maze. I found this to be pretty interesting, so I put a link here on the board. All right, so when you have time, open this link. And what you will find is that you go through a maze and you connect the words that have a similar sound. Okay, and that will help you to practice certain sounds. So if you have a problem pronouncing a long A sound or a short A sound, okay, try a pronunciation maze. Okay, that might be something that's helpful to you. All right, very good. All right, yes.
Carissa, if you don't mind, could you write down on the chat box the link, please?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Can you see the Verbaling chat box?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So there, I put it there in the Verbaling chat box. If anyone's not able to see the Verbaling chat box, please let me know and I'll go ahead and put it in the other chat box. Okay, so actually let's go ahead and open that. Okay, so everyone go ahead and open that link for me. And then that way we'll be looking at the same document. Okay, so we can give you I can give you an example of what it is. Okay, so let me know when you have that link opened.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Okay, Ava, Heide, are you able to see that link?
Sorry, guys, I can see the chat. I can see one chat, but I think it's a different chat because I can see nothing.
Okay, all right.
Now I can see it now.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so let's take a look at the document. Very, very good. Heide, are you able to see the document?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, so in this particular pronunciation maze, all right, you can check it out on EnglishZone.com. All right, now in this one, you are comparing the sound of the double O, okay, as in book, and the single O as in go. Okay, the sounds are very different. Book, go. All right, so what you do is you're going to find your way through the maze and you're going to locate the words with the sound as in book and the word as in book. Okay, so if we start with book, what's the next word that we go to that has the same sound?
Took.
Took, right? That's good. All right. And what's the next word that has the same sound? What's the next word that has the same sound?
Boat.
Okay, so boat. All right. But then also, yep, that's it. Okay, so book, took. Okay. Actually,
Bull.
boat. There you go. Bull, bull.
Bull.
All right. What's another word that has the same sound? Continue to go through the maze. Good. Good. Okay. Good. Okay. Another word.
Cushion.
Cushion.
Cushion. Good. Cushion. Okay. Look at the third line. Okay, where it says coat. Good. Good. What other word in that line?
Cool.
Could.
Okay, that's the line below it. Okay, but look in the same row as good. Okay, not bowl. What about look? Does that have the same sound? Look?
Look, yeah.
All right. What about foot?
Yeah.
Okay, what other words have the same sound? Let's keep going.
Sugar.
Okay, cook. Good. Sugar. Good.
Put.
Put. Put.
Shouldn't.
Shouldn't. Good, good.
Would. Would.
Woods.
Bookshelf.
Woods. Book.
Bookshelf.
Good, Rafa. Bookshelf. Very good.
Woman.
Woman. Good. There you go. Woman. Okay. What other words? Football. Yep.
Fall.
Full. Full.
Wood.
Wood. Good, good. Any other words?
Hood.
Hood.
Hood. Hood. Very good. Any other words?
Do.
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 No.
Do.
Couldn't.
Good. Couldn't. All right, because dough has a different sound. Dough. That's different. Okay. What about pillow?
No.
No, right? No. Okay. Okay, looks like that's it. Okay, looks like those. Now, okay, that was pretty different. Okay, that was interesting. It's an activity that you can try, and you can try the pronunciation mazes with different sounds. Okay, so all you're going to do is Google it. Okay, you're going to Google pronunciation maze, and you can say whatever sound you need to practice. Okay, so this is something that I found that was interesting, and you challenge yourself. So if you can do some activities every day, that will help you to improve your pronunciation. Okay, good. Okay, what did you think about the exercise? Heide, do you think this is a helpful exercise?
I mentioned before, I often take reading class. Then I read could. The teacher already corrected me.
Right.
Not could. Could open your mouth a little more like that.
Just open your mouth, right?
And I can't pronounce could and would.
So you know, Heide, in addition to taking your classes, okay, so this is something that you can do individually. Try a pronunciation maze. Okay, good. All right, Rafa, what did you think of the pronunciation maze? Did you find it helpful?
Yes. Very helpful, because when you are practicing with one sound, you could difference with the other sounds. I think it's
That's right. So that's right. So you can see the difference. You can hear the difference between one sound and another sound. That's right. Good. Ava, what did you think of the pronunciation maze? Did you find it helpful?
Yes, I think it's helpful. I agree with Rafa.
Good. Okay, so that's one thing you can do. Okay, try to improve your pronunciation. All right, my next suggestion is this: use simple words. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this slide. Okay, so you're going to use simple words. All right, now you'll find that in most languages there's a simple word for something, and then there's a more complex synonym for that same word. Okay, when you're trying to improve your clarity, okay, opt for the simpler words, and then continue to practice the more challenging words. Okay, when you feel that you can say the more challenging or the more difficult words, then go ahead and implement them in your day-to-day conversation. Okay, and again, if you find that you've tried a harder word and your listener does not understand, then go back to the simpler word. All right, very good. Okay, my next suggestion is this: try short sentences first. All right, so make sure that you understand the grammar of short, simple sentences. For example, I may try just the simple present tense or the simple past tense. I'm just going to put my subject, verb, and object, and I'm going to keep practicing that until I have the grammar correctly. If I can use it correctly. Every time I open my mouth, I use a grammatically correct, simple sentence. Okay, then I'm going to practice using more complex sentences. I may combine short sentences with a conjunction. Okay, but practice it. Okay, so don't start off with the $1 million sentences. Start off with the $2 sentences and then work your way up. Okay, that would be a suggestion. Okay, now here's another suggestion. If your listener does not understand you the first time, repeat what you said. Now here's the key. Say what you said, say it slower. Say it a little slower. And enunciate your words. Okay, enunciate means to pronounce the word correctly. Okay, focus on your correct pronunciation. For example, if you're trying to say a verb, a past tense verb, and your listener does not understand you, make sure that you have pronounced that word correctly. Okay, enunciate that word. Okay, so if I said, the boy kissed the girl, okay, the problem is me. I didn't pronounce that word correctly, so I'm going to go back and review. No, that word ends in an S sound, so I have to say kissed. Ah, the boy kissed the girl. Okay, so just try it again and enunciate your word. Okay, and as we mentioned before, maybe your listener just didn't hear you, so try not to get frustrated. Okay, just work on that pronunciation. Okay, now it's something that advertisers use. Advertisers repeat the same things over and over again. And the thing is, we tend to remember what we see and hear in advertisements. All right, let's try a little dialogue. Okay, let's put this into practice and see if we can understand this technique. Okay, and let's see. Let's have Ava. Ava, can you read person B? And then Rafa, can you read person A? Let's try that dialogue.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
My name is Franklin. What's yours?
My name is Madeleine.
It's nice to meet you, Marilyn.
Madeline. My name is Madeline.
Oh, excuse me. It's nice to meet you, Madeleine.
It's nice to meet you too, Frederick.
Franklin. I'm Franklin.
I confused Franklin and Frederick. I think I've got right now. Is Franklin right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So taking a look at this dialogue, okay, Rafa, what was the problem here in this dialogue?
The problem is nobody understands the name of the other.
That's true. There's no one understood each other's name. Okay, because the names sound similar. Madeline, Marilyn. It's easy to get confused. So sometimes maybe Madeline is not a popular name where you live, but Marilyn is. So you say, "Oh, Marilyn." No, it's Madeline. Okay, that happens to me here in Costa Rica. I say, "My name is Carissa," and the person goes, "Oh, nice to meet you, Karina." And I say, "No, I'm Carissa." Okay, very good. Okay, nice job. Let's try a different one. Let's try a different dialogue and let's see if we can get it into mind. Okay, so here's the next idea. Okay, so if the person doesn't understand you the first time, let's try to rephrase. Okay, try to say it in a slightly different way. All right, let's take example number 1. Okay, and this time I'm going to have Heide. Heide, can you read person A, and we'll have Ava read person B.
Excuse me, what's the time?
I didn't hear you well. What did you ask me?
What time is it?
It's 10 a.m.
Thanks.
Okay, so Ava, what happened in this dialogue?
That the second person doesn't hear the other very well. Then she asks for her to repeat, and the other person asks her the same question, but in another way.
Very good. That's called rephrasing. All right, and it was effective. It worked.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Let's try another example. Let's try example number 2. All right, this is slightly shorter. All right, so let's get Rafa. Rafa, can you read person A, and then let's have Heidi. Let's have you read person Q. Mm-hmm. Okay, Rafa, did you step away? Okay, I think Rafa stepped away. All right, so let's have Ava. Ava, can you read person A?
Where did Jim go?
Say that again, please.
Where is Jim?
He went to run an errand. He'll be right back.
Okay, very good. Again, we see rephrasing. In the first one, where did he go? And then, where is Jim? Okay, it's a simpler way to ask the very same question. All right, let's try yet a different example. Okay, and this time, let's have Heide. I'd like you to read H, and then Ava, you're going to read Z, please.
Are you feeling better?
What's that?
How do you feel?
I feel great. I'm feeling much better than yesterday. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
Okay, very good. Okay, so we've changed the question. Are you feeling better? Okay, and the way that the person asked for repetition was, what's that? Ah, how do you feel? Ah, okay, I understand you now. Very good. Let's try our final example that I have. Then that's going to do it for our lesson for today. Okay, so let's take lesson 4, or example 4. Okay, Rafa, are you back with us? Okay, I don't think so. All right, so let's have Ava. Please take T, and then Heide, if you could read M.
Hello.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm great. Can I call you back later this afternoon? I'm leaving for work now.
I wanted to talk to you about my trip to Japan.
I'd love to hear all about it, but right now I'm working out the store. I'll call you later.
I can see.
And I'm sorry. It looks like I sorry about that. Give me 1 second. Let me get that back up on the screen. All right. Let's see. All right, there we go. Okay, very good. We were at the end of the dialogue anyway. Okay, very good. Okay, so you can see that trying to rephrase what you say can be helpful in your listener understanding what you are saying. Okay, so we've talked about a few tips today. Okay, we've talked about locating or understanding the words or sounds that you have a difficulty understanding. All right, Googling them and practicing that pronunciation. All right, we've also talked about making sure that that you do different activities like our pronunciation maze. Okay, we practiced our ED endings, and we've practiced rephrasing. Okay, so try these techniques out. I have found that they're practical. Try them out and see if you notice an improvement in the way that your listener understands you. The one thing you did not hear today was asking that question, did you understand me? You could ask that question, but try one of these tips out and see if it's a little bit more effective. Okay? Very good. Well, thank you everyone for joining me here in class today. It was my pleasure to have you. Hopefully I will see you again for one of my other classes. You can also book a one-on-one class with me. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
teacher.
Bye.
Nice day.
You're welcome. Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.